What's going on, guys? Noah Sanford here. We're hanging out in the Ranger right now. Got a super exciting video coming at you guys right now. Before we jump into it, an absolute huge thanks to Bass Boat Technologies for sending me all the stuff that you're gonna see me installing in this video. This video would not have been possible without their support, and we really appreciate them supporting me, the guide business, the YouTube channel, everything involved with what's going on here. So huge thanks to you guys. Now let's go ahead and jump into the video. We're going to be going over how to install the dual console mount from Bass Boat Technologies. So the specific one we're going to be installing today is the dual console for the Ranger Z series and the C type. So basically we're going to be going over all of your Ranger C from I think 2013 to present. So let's just jump into it. Let's show you guys what we're working with. We're also going to have another video coming on how to install the bow mount. That's going to be on the next video though. So we're focusing on the dual console mount right now. So we got the dual console mount as well as all the hardware, obviously. They send you guys all the hardware. And then we also have these aircraft grade aluminum gimbal bracket mounts. So if you guys don't know, or if you haven't had Lowrance, Humminbird, Garmin Electronics, you'll know that their products are great, but the gimbal mounts they send for your units usually suck. They're usually really thin, flimsy aluminum. They rattle around, they're not secure at all. So Bass Boat Technologies actually makes these super beefed up mounts here for your electronics in addition to your mount. So really excited to be putting this stuff on. Let's just jump into it right here at the console since that's where we're working with. The first step is pretty dang straightforward. You're gonna have your, grabbing it behind me here, you're gonna have your typical factory piece of aluminum here that your original graph was mounted into. In my case, it was that Lowrance HDS Carbon 12. That's gonna be sitting right there. The only thing that's keeping this in place are gonna be these 7 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back those screws out, unhook your plugs from the graph, obviously. Take this bad boy off. You might have a couple screws around the corner like that. You can just back those off. It's super easy to do. Pretty self-explanatory. That's gonna expose you to the guts of the console here. So you see you got a million wires. Obviously, we're gonna have to do a little bit of wiring, but not a problem. It's still super straightforward. Now that you've got your screen off, Bass Boat Technologies, like I said, actually sends you guys all the hardware. So here's the original mounting screws. You can see the ones they send you are just a little bit more beefed up. So we're gonna go ahead and take our drill and drill out these pilot holes a little bit just to make sure that we don't crack our fiberglass. Let's go ahead and do that. Next thing we're gonna do is run these wires through the actual mount. So I'm gonna get this mount on here and run all of my wires that go to my graphs through the holes in the back, so that way we can plug them in to our mounts. All right, we've got all the wires pulled through here, as you can see. So now, since we've already drilled those pilot holes for our screws to mount this thing on here, nice and sturdy, all we gotta do is screw those in. So you can see here, the cool thing about this mount is it actually completely replaces the entire aluminum piece that was here holding your graph in. So now the whole console graph mount is just this big piece. So pretty cool stuff, guys. Let's go ahead and run those screws through. All right, so it looks like the camera shut off halfway through doing all the screws, so I apologize for that. But basically, after you drill your pilot holes, you just put the screws in the exact same spots they were at. All you're doing with the pilot holes is making those holes just a little bit bigger, so that way those bigger screws don't crack your fiberglass. So the cool thing is, the screws they send you a couple extras as well. They send you these screws and these little black covers, so you don't have those not very aesthetically looking stainless screw heads on the outside. Before you put the screws in, you put those black covers on, and you can see they're completely covered up. All you see is those little black bumps, so they don't really even look like screws. And you can see there's got one down there, one right there, and then your 3 across. So there it is, guys. Super easy installation. From the time I had the old graph off to the time I put this in, It was maybe 15 minutes at most. So super duper easy. Let's go ahead and get these gimbal mounts on and then put our graphs on and see what it looks like. I'm super excited. Another super cool feature that I forgot to mention is you can see here, these are all customizable. So you can put your graphs wherever you want, left to right, or you can also put them at an angle inward or vertical. So you can either have them facing kind of in towards you or just vertical, or I guess parallel should be the word, parallel with your dash, or you can kind of angle them in a little bit. I think I'm gonna go ahead and angle them in, but it's pretty cool that they leave these holes wide like this so you can decide what angle you want both your graphs at and also how far apart you want them. So this is what our soon-to-be finished product is looking like. Looks pretty dang sweet, guys. What I'm doing right now is just putting the two graphs on here to figure out where I want those gimbal brackets mounted at in comparison to one another. But dang, man, looks pretty stinking cool if you ask me. And the thing I like about it too is that these metal kind of shrouds that go around here actually match the metal shroud going around the console perfectly. So I'll tell you what, guys, this is a pretty dang cool thing. If you guys want to check out Bass Boat Technology, I'm going to leave a link directly to their website in the description. Guys, I'm really excited to get this wrapped up, so I'm going to go ahead and figure out where I want these gimbal brackets out, get them tightened down, and show you guys what we're working with. All right, guys, we finished lining up the Humminbird. And I was gonna show you guys the process for the Lowrance, but it was the exact same, so I didn't really think it mattered too much. But basically, I figured out where I wanted the two brackets at, screwed them down right here, super duper easy. All the holes are pre-cut. I didn't have to drill a single thing other than obviously the pilot holes for the actual mount into the fiberglass console. But aside from that, guys, everything's pre-drilled, everything's cut out, all the hardware's there. It literally, from the time I started this to right now, to where they're all said and done on there and finished up here, super duper cool. From the time I started to the time that they're done now, it maybe took a little over an hour. And that's because I was being meticulous with it, right? Obviously, if I was just going fast, it probably would have taken less than an hour. It probably took me an hour and 15, hour and 20, just because I was making sure everything was exactly where I wanted it. I had to realign stuff a couple times with the graphs. But other than that, if I had to do it again, now that I kind of know what I'm doing, I could easily do it in less than an hour. So super straightforward process here, guys. I'm really excited to get out here on the water with these graphs on, mounted the way they are. We actually have a tournament coming up on this Saturday coming up. I think it's going to be on the 18th down on Lake Mojave. So definitely excited to try this setup out once we get down there on the water at Mojave. Really looking forward to it. One other super cool feature with these graphs, guys, I just finished mounting them up, is these anti-vibration knobs right here. So basically, these are built into the graph. They've got these little rubber knobs on the end that you screw down firm to your graph on the back on both sides. I haven't done this one yet, but I just finished up on the Humminbird. And what that does is it presses up against the back of the graph so you won't have any of that vibration on your graphs when you're driving or in that rough water. Super smart. All right, just fired up both the units. Everything is looking good. We got power to both, a good connection on both. So kind of what my plan is to use this Humminbird, the Solix over here, mainly for mapping. In my personal opinion, I'm not sponsored by either of these companies, and that's why I have both. My personal opinion is Humminbird has the best, most detailed mapping by far. That's why I'm running this unit mainly for mapping. I think mapping's super important, especially for where we're at. Even though I'm familiar with this water, it gives me the opportunity to find new structures and areas to fish when I'm doing my homework on the lake, as well as when I'm running early morning, late in the evening, or at night. I don't have to worry about being out on the lake and not knowing where I'm at. And then on my right side, my plan for this guy is using it mostly for my 2D and my down scan. So, or I'm sorry, my 2D and my side scan. So guys, that's pretty much the setup. Looks really clean. I'm super pumped to get out on the water with this. I want to give a huge thanks once again to Bass Boat Technologies for hooking me up with this sweet new mount, as well as the bow mount that's going to be coming soon in the next video. installation and setup for that one. So this is by far the best mounting system for your bass boat. It's rock solid, absolutely secure. There's really not much else to say, guys. These mounts are built like tanks. Just look at that setup here. Absolutely gorgeous. So enough talking, guys. It's really gonna prove itself when I get out on the water. You guys are gonna see these mounts pretty much every single video I make, so moving forward. If you wanna check out Bass Boat Technologies mounts, they have mounts for almost every single bass boat that exists in the last 30 years. Go to bassboattechnology.com. You can check everything out. You can buy this exact same mount if you want. And coming up next on this next video is going to be installing that guy right there for my Garmin Live unit. So really pumped to do that. Noah Sanford here. Once again, huge thanks to Bass Boat Technologies for hooking me up with this stuff. Really excited to run it on my boat this year. Look at that. Looks so good. All right, guys. Noah Sanford here. We'll see you out on the water.